You know what kills me? Walking through the junkyard. Seriously, I'll be looking for a specific part for a customer, and I'll walk past row after row of Hyundais with their hoods popped open, engines sitting there perfectly good, and nobody gives them a second look. Why? Because everybody's fighting over the same few popular engines. Meanwhile, there are actual gems that are quite cheap just sitting somewhere out there collecting dust, rust, and shame. Some of you are out there paying $5,000, $6,000, even $7,000 for remanufactured engines or letting shops talk you into expensive swaps when the absolute best engine for your Hyundai has been sitting in a junkyard for 6 months with 80,000 miles on it for $800. But nobody talks about them. Nobody knows about them. Well, until today. It's Dean again, and I'll be doing something a little different today. I'm going to tell you about 3 engines under $2,000 more than capable of outlasting engines that cost 10 times more. These are the engines I'd put in my own car. The engines I recommend to friends. The engines that'll run damn near forever if you don't screw them up. Well, let's jump right in. Alright, I'll be starting with the engine that might honestly be the most underrated 4-cylinder on the market right now. What I'm talking about here is an engine capable of hitting 400,000 miles like it's nothing. I once got into it with a dealership over this guy. Why? Because he wouldn't stop calling it outdated junk. I'm talking about engine number 1, the 2.0-liter Nu MPI. Me and the guys at the shop call this one the overlooked workhorse. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dean, that's the base engine. That's the rental car special. That's the engine they put in the cheap models. And yeah, you're not wrong. But you're missing the main deal here. You see, everybody's obsessed with the 1.6 TGDI, the Theta 2, the Gamma Turbo. They want the power numbers, the boost, the fun factor. And I get it. I really do. Who doesn't want a little more excitement in their daily drive? But here's the problem with those engines. And I'm not saying they're bad, I prefer the word complicated. They've got direct injection, which means carbon buildup on the valves. They've got turbochargers, which means more heat, more stress, more things to wear down with time. They've got high-pressure fuel systems that cost a fortune to repair when they fail. Trust me, I know. The 2.0-liter Nu, on the other hand, it's got none of that. Let me break down exactly what makes this engine your best bet, especially if you do some light towing or severe drives. First, port injection. Now this is huge. With port injection, fuel sprays right onto the back of the intake valves. That means those valves are getting constantly cleaned by the fuel. No carbon buildup. You don't have to bring it in for a walnut blasting like every 60,000 miles. You've also got no expensive intake manifold removals to clean deposits. Just clean valves, forever. How great does that sound? Second, no turbocharger. Look, I'll be straight with you. I'm not the biggest fan of turbos. But hey, they're fun, I get that. But do you know that they're also heat generators? Heat kills engines. It cooks oil, it warps components, it degrades seals. The Nu runs cool and happy because it's not compressing air and making everything hotter. The oil stays cleaner longer, the cooling system works less hard, and everything under that hood lasts a lot longer. Third, and this is the engineering geek stuff, the Nu architecture was designed with durability as the primary goal. Hyundai built this engine to survive neglect. Not that you should neglect it, but if somebody forgets an oil change or two, the Nu is forgiving in ways that those high-strung GDI engines certainly aren't. The oil passages are generous, the bearing clearances are sensible. It's not built for performance, it's built to run and keep running, no matter what. I had a guy come into the shop a few months back with a 2013 Elantra. Base model, cloth seats, steel wheels, the whole 9 yards. The thing had 240,000 miles on it. Original engine, original transmission. He'd changed the oil every 5,000 miles like clockwork, done the coolant flushes when he was supposed to, and otherwise just drove the thing. We pulled the valve cover to do a gasket replacement, and I swear to you, inside that engine looked almost new. A little varnish, sure, but no sludge. No abnormal wear. The timing chain tensioner was still within spec. The cam lobes were perfect. He didn't believe it when I told him just how great his 10-year-old car was looking. That car is still on the road today. I saw it last week at the grocery store parking lot. Still running, still driving, still being completely, utterly, boringly reliable. Sometimes that's just what you need. Compare that to the 2.4-liter Theta 2 engines I see coming in with 100,000 miles, knocking like an angry neighbor at 2 a.m. because the connecting rod bearings are shot. Or the 1.6T engines with valves so coked up they can't seal properly. The Nu just keeps going. If I've been able to pique your interest and you want to grab one of these engines, here's all you need to know. You know I always got your backs. First, they really shouldn't be hard to find. They came in pretty much everything. I'm talking 2011 through 2019 Elantras, 2012 through 2017 Accents, some of the early Kia Souls, the Forte, the Rio. They're everywhere. You literally cannot walk through a junkyard without tripping over 3 or 4 of them. Second, look for the MPI badge if you can find it. Some of these cars had GDI versions of the same displacement, and you don't want those. You want the port-injected version. How can you tell? Look at the intake manifold. If you see fuel injectors going into the intake ports, you're golden. If you see a high-pressure fuel pump on the end of the cylinder head, keep walking. That's the GDI. If you get that, you're basically missing out on everything that makes the Nu what it is. And for those of you who still need some more convincing, how about we talk economics for a minute? Here's where it gets really interesting. So, a used 2.0-liter Nu from a junkyard will run you somewhere between $600 and $1,200 depending on mileage and where you are. A remanufactured long block from a parts store, $3,000 to $4,000 installed if you're lucky. A dealer replacement? Don't even ask. You and your pocket will cry. Now compare it to the other options in Hyundai's lineup. The 2.4-liter Theta 2? Great engine when it's not eating connecting rod bearings, but parts are more expensive, and they're harder to find because everybody wants them for their Sonatas and Optimas. The 1.6T? More expensive, more complicated, and when they blow, and they do blow, they take half the car with them. The 2.0-liter Nu is the engine you buy when you want to keep your car on the road for another 200,000 miles without breaking the bank. It's not exciting, it's not going to win any races, but neither is a hammer, and you still need one in your toolbox, don't you? I had a customer with a 2015 Elantra that threw a rod at 120,000 miles. Don't ask me how. He admitted he'd gone almost 20,000 miles without an oil change. Anyway, he came in ready to scrap the car. I told him to hold on. Found a 2.0-liter Nu from a 2016 with 80,000 miles at a local yard for like $850. Charged him 12 hours of labor to swap it. Total bill was about $2,200. He's still driving that car today, 3 years later. He brings me cards every Christmas. That's the economics of the Nu. It's cheap, it's everywhere, and it just works. Okay, now I'm about to tell you about something just a little different. Just like the Nu, this engine is as durable as they come. But with one difference and advantage, it's a lot smaller. This is engine number 2, the 3.3-liter Lambda V6. The 3.3-liter Lambda V6 doesn't look like much on paper. People might never stop overlooking it, but holy cow does it deliver. The reality is, everybody wants the 3.8-liter. Bigger number, right? More displacement, more power, more bragging rights at the stoplight. You name it. And I'll admit, the 3.8 is a solid engine. It's been around forever, makes good power, sounds decent. But here's the thing about the 3.8, it's in everything. Every Genesis sedan, every Equus, every rear-wheel drive application Hyundai and Kia made for years. And don't get me wrong, this isn't totally a bad thing. But because it's in everything, it's got a price premium. The dealers know what they have, they're not stupid. So where do you turn when you don't have that kind of money to splurge? The forgotten middle child? That where. The 3.3-liter came in the front-wheel drive stuff, the Azera, the Cadenza, some of the bigger Santa Fe models, and because it's not in the, cool cars, nobody thinks about it, but boy, have you guys been missing out. The 3.3-liter Lambda is essentially the same architecture as the 3.8, same basic design, same engineering philosophy, same block design, same head design, same valve train, just slightly smaller displacement because of a different bore and stroke. And you know what that means? It's got the same reliability, the same smoothness, the same durability, but it's cheaper and easier to find. Besides this, the 3.3-liter offers so much more. I'll have to get into some engineering details for you to understand what makes this engine truly special. You see, the Lambda family was Hyundai's first modern all-aluminum V6. They threw everything they had at it. Dual overhead cams, variable valve timing on both intake. The 3.3 version is essentially detuned from the factory, which means it's even more durable than the 3.8. Would you believe that? Lower specific output means less stress on every component. The oiling system on these engines is excellent. They've got piston oil squirters. Those are little nozzles that spray oil on the bottom of the pistons to cool them. That's heavy-duty engineering right there. Most economy cars don't have that. The Lambda does. It also has a structural aluminum oil pan that adds rigidity to the bottom end of the engine. These things were over-engineered from day one. I remember pulling one apart a few years ago from a 2008 Azera with 200,000 miles. Customer wanted me to check why it was using a little oil. I expected to find worn rings, maybe some cylinder scoring. What I found instead? Cross-hatching still visible on the cylinder walls, bearings that looked like they had half that mileage, cam lobes with zero visible wear. That engine was barely broken in at 200,000. I put it back together with new valve stem seals, sent it on its way, and it's still running today. Compare that to Hyundai's earlier V6 efforts. The 2.7-liter Delta, decent engine, but it had issues with timing chain tensioners and oil sludge if maintenance wasn't perfect. The 3.5-liter Sigma? Good power but heavy and thirsty. The Lambda fixed all of these. It fixed everything that was wrong with those engines and added a decade of engineering refinement. If you want to grab a 3.3-liter Lambda, here's your shopping list. First, look for 2006 through 2015 models. That's the sweet spot. You'll find them in the Azera, the Cadenza, the longer wheelbase Santa Fe models, and even some of the Kia Borrego SUVs if you can find one that hasn't been crushed into a cube already. Second, pay attention to the year split. Early versions, I'm talking 2006 to 2009, had a timing belt. Later versions switched to a timing chain. Both are fine, but you need to know what you're getting. If you get a belt engine and it hasn't been changed in 100,000 miles, you're looking at a maintenance item right out of the gate. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but you'll have to factor that into your price. For the economists, enough engineering. Let's talk finance real quick. A 3.3-liter Lambda from pretty much anywhere will run you anywhere from $800 to $1,500 depending on mileage and condition. A 3.8 from the same yard? Probably $2,000 to $3,000 because everybody wants it for their Genesis Coupe project or their V6 swap. That's over $1,000 more for pretty much the same engine, except it's a lot more popular. Really? I did the math for a customer once. He had a 2010 Azera with a dead engine. We priced out a remanufactured 3.8 from a parts supplier. He wanted to sell for $4,700. Then we tried to use 3.8 from the junkyard. He wanted to sell at $2,200. A lot cheaper, but still, no way I was going to watch him spend that much at the junkyard. Then there was this used 3.3 from a rear-end collision car. That was a little over $1,000. Same labor either way. He went with the 3.3, saved himself over $1,000, and honestly, he can't tell the difference. The car drives exactly the same. He's got a little less top-end power. But when's the last time you needed to go 130 miles an hour in an Azera? That's the 3.3. You get to pay less for the same reliability, and you lose maybe 20 horsepower that you were never going to use anyway. And finally, for the real shocker, one engine I'm so sure a lot of gearheads wouldn't expect to see on here. The little engine you can always trust. Always. What do you know about engine number 3, the 1.6-liter Gamma MPI? Now, before you click away thinking I've lost my mind, hear me out. I know it's small. I know it's not powerful. I know it's the engine they put in the cheapest, smallest cars Hyundai makes. But here's the thing about small engines. They never have to work as hard. That's the beauty of the 1.6-liter Gamma MPI. Look, it's easy to see why everybody wants the 2.0-liter in their Elantra, or the 1.6T in their Veloster. The little 1.6 MPI is the engine nobody talks about because it's not exciting. It makes like 120 horsepower, maybe 130 if you're lucky. A strong breeze will push you around on the highway. But here's what the power chasers don't understand. That tiny engine will run forever. I'm talking 250,000 miles, 300,000 miles. I've seen them go longer. Because here's the thing about making only 120 horsepower. You're not stressing the components. The rods aren't bending. The bearings aren't spinning. The pistons aren't melting, it's just puttering along, doing its job, asking for nothing more than regular oil changes and the occasional spark plug. I had a lady bring in her 2012 Accent a couple years, replaced it, cleared the codes, and while I was under the hood I noticed something. 287,000 miles on the odometer. Original 1.6-liter Gamma MPI, original transmission. She'd bought it new, drove it 80 miles a day for work, changed the oil every 5,000 miles, and otherwise never thought about it. Last time I asked, that car was still on the road with the same engine. I bet you she has absolutely no idea the kind of engine she's got in the hood. I know a lot of you wouldn't want to, but if you ever want to go hunting for this guy, I've got a couple of tips for you. First, always think small. They're in everything small. I'm talking 2012 through 2017 Accents, 2012 through 2015 Rio. Some of the smaller Kia Souls, even some of the manual transmission Elantras from certain years. They're everywhere. You cannot throw a rock in a junkyard without hitting one. Second, pay attention to the MPI versus GDI thing once again. The 1.6 came in both versions. You want the MPI? How can you tell? Same trick as before. Look for injectors in the intake manifold, not a high-pressure fuel pump on the head. The MPI version is simpler, more reliable, and doesn't have the carbon buildup issues that plague the GDI. Third, and this is the most important, listen for timing chain noise. These engines have timing chains, and while they're generally reliable, they can stretch if the oil changes were neglected, which I'm sure so many older drivers neglected like always. When you're looking at a used engine, turn it over by hand if you can. Feel for smooth rotation. If it feels rough or you hear clunking, walk away. That chain is coming due. I understand having some reservations about the 1.6-liter Gamma, but trust me, it's as reliable as they come. I remember pulling a 1.6 from a 2013 Accent that had been in a front-end collision. The car was smashed, but the engine was untouched. Got it for like $400. Threw it on the test stand, changed the oil, put a battery on it, and it fired up on the second crank. Ran smooth as silk. Sold it to a kid with a 2012 Rio that had thrown a rod for $800 installed. He's still driving it. Texted me a picture not too long ago from a road trip to the Grand Canyon. In fact, he's the reason I decided to make this video. 180,000 miles on that engine now. Still running. Alright, let's talk money for a bit. This is where it gets a bit ridiculous. A 1.6-liter Gamma MPI will cost you between $400 and $800. $400. That's less than a decent set of tires. That's pocket change in the world of car repairs. Now, if I compare that to other small Hyundai engines, maybe you'll understand its value. The 1.8-liter Beta, for instance. Getting old, parts are harder to find. The 1.6-liter GDI? More expensive, more complicated, and you're looking at a carbon cleaning about every 60,000 miles if you want to keep it running right. The 2.0-liter Nu I just told you about? Great engine, but still twice the price. The 1.6 Gamma is the budget king. It's the engine you buy when you have a beater Accent with a dead motor and you need to keep it on the road for another 100,000 miles without spending more than the car's worth. And it will do exactly that. Look, I'm not saying you should go out and buy a junkyard engine for your daily driver if it's running fine, but here's the reality. Cars get old, engines fail, and when they do, most people panic. They think they need a new car, or a remanufactured engine from the dealer, or some expensive rebuild from a specialty shop. But you've got to understand, there are diamonds in the rough out there. Engines that everybody ignores because they're not flashy or powerful or popular. Engines that'll run for another 200,000 miles with nothing more than basic maintenance. Engines that cost less than your monthly rent. These are the 2.0-liter Nu MPI, the 3.3-liter Lambda V6, and the 1.6-liter Gamma MPI. 3 engines, 3 Goldmines, all sitting in some junkyard right now, waiting for somebody smart enough to recognize their value.